Welcome back to Hypothetically Sports. It's October 6th, 2021. And as always, my name is Alexander, and I'm joined here by Randy and Deb.
Yo,
What up?
So we're going to start off today by talking about the NBA real quick. The preseason just started on the 3rd, and the Timberwolves did play. I think they looked good, especially the big three. And we ended up winning 117-114. Any thoughts? Did you watch it? Or
Yeah, I watched a couple of quarters. Um, they looked good. They were playing defense. They was doing some transitional things. Cat was Cat. You could see the extra poundage he put on and muscle. You know, and then D'Lo was D'Lo. Still need to work on being more consistent. And then Anthony Edwards, well, that boy's a beast. That's all we can say about him. He showed it throughout the game. So, overall, I like what Patrick Beverly was doing a little bit there on defense for him. I thought he brought some energy off the bench. So they look good. Don't need no one else in the mix, if you know what I'm saying. Just saying.
no, it was a good game, first preseason game. Obviously, they came out the way you wanted the Timberwolves to come out with energy, hustle. They preached defense all year, and Anthony Edwards definitely showed up with defense in the first half. I think in the first 5 minutes of the game, he had 2 blocks and 2 steals, and was on man. The question becomes, can they do this consistently? Like, it's one preseason game. All Timberwolves fans on Twitter are overly hyped about it. But yeah, it needs to be a consistent thing all through the year. Towns needs to keep doing it. Ant needs to keep doing it. There were question marks that I have about the team still. Jaden McDaniels, from the end of the last year into Summer League to now, looked lost on the court sometimes during the game, which is a little concerning. Like, it looked like it was his first game again as a rookie. And then this thing of all Timberwolves fans saying, "Oh, we don't need Ben Simmons." Like, I think it's still too early. I didn't think Ben Simmons would be traded until the first half of the season, anyways, until like December. So it'll be interesting to see if the Timberwolves can keep doing what they're doing through the first half of the season. Because if they can do this, Simmons is a non-factor in the Timberwolves. But I still think at some point, if the bench can't do enough, you trade for Simmons to give you that boost in the first line.
Well, I'm gonna have to agree to disagree with you on that one. Uh, Plus, they're talking about Philadelphia trading for Kyrie. Because at least Kyrie can be unvaccinated and play in Philadelphia. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
yeah, Kyrie can be unvaccinated and play for Philadelphia when he only plays half the games. Gotta be healthy, So him being unvaccinated doesn't really matter.
Yeah, he ain't going anywhere. They're not going to trade him. They're not. It's a PR mess. First and foremost, you're not trading for someone like Kyrie is very talented at basketball, but he's trying to get educated, but at the same time comes across extremely uneducated. The first was the flat Earth. Like, I'm sorry, like, there's no scientific evidence that the Earth is flat. Everything points to the Earth being round, as well as every other planet in the universe. And then he had other hot takes that just made no sense, and now the anti-vax stance. Like, cool. Like, you can say you don't want it. I'm cool with people saying they don't want it. But to deny the science that's out there against COVID vaccine makes no sense to me. To say you need to do your research. What research are you as a normal citizen going to do that the CDC hasn't done? You don't get to touch the vaccine and see what's inside of it, or get to look at COVID and see what it's made up of. So there's nothing you can learn that's not being told to you. And, like, I guess if you don't want to believe them, that's your prerogative. But don't use science as the reason why you're not going to get the vaccine. Makes no sense.
All
especially
right.
when you have no sense.
Mhm.
Yep. All right, that's fair. That's fair. Moving on to the NHL. The season's gonna start real soon, October 15th. I believe that's next week, Thursday or Friday. Uh,
Mhm.
we did record our first win against the Avalanche, who previously we put up or let them score 6 on us. So they only put up 1 goal this time.
Mhm.
So hopefully, that trend continues and they fixed out whatever the first 2 preseason game issues were.
Well, in the NHL preseason is kind of like the NFL and the NBA. They're trying a lot of different things, and
Mhm.
different lineups and all these things. So, like I said, I don't put no stock into it until you get a couple of weeks into the regular season. So,
Okay, that's fair.
good to see them not giving up 6 goals.
Yeah.
Like I said, so we'll see what happens. It's going to be they need to be on a good start, get on to a good start, and get onto a roll. Being as young a team as they are, I think that it's going to be important for them to do that. So looking forward to it. Well, one game at a time, one drop puck of a one hat. Hey, maybe I can say this now. One drop of the puck at a time.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah, obviously it was nice to get Krill on the ice and see what he's made of, and there was a lot of things to be positive about. But like you said, it's a long season. Preseason is just about getting into a groove early. That's why you do preseason games, is just to get the rust off from the off season. So yeah, nothing really matters until like the first second week of the season. Even a couple losses early on isn't the biggest deal. It's just a matter about responding. So we'll see how they do in the first couple weeks.
And then that takes us to one of our main topics, college. Just a quick recap. Can't talk. I get it from you. Just a quick recap of the week. Um, the biggest upset that happened was Oregon losing to Stanford in overtime. And for dad's sake, Arkansas did get blown out by Georgia.
Yes,
I
there
believe it was
was
like
a big old pay
37-0.
roast. Yes, there was. I told you. Told you. No more pig suey.
I mean, it's only one game. They're still up there, still ranked. So we'll see
Yeah,
if they
they're still
improve.
ranked, but there any hopes of getting to the playoffs or anything like that are over with. I knew that was coming. The Georgia defense is just too crazy. These guys is playing at a level, they're playing like an NFL team right now. They're just that good. Getting those guards 6'7", 350 pounds, and he can get up to 20 miles an hour in full speed in open field. 20 mile, 6'7". It's like a big wall coming at you to destroy you. No, my goodness. Mm-mm. I'd be like, here's the ball. Gotta go.
No, it definitely was all props to Georgia. They went out and they did their thing. They destroyed. I didn't see it coming. Same with Iowa. I didn't expect Iowa to drop 51 points. So good for them. Those were two of my upset picks that I had last week, and some things just don't work out. Like, I'm not gonna shy away from upset picks when I see it being possible. And Iowa showed why they're the class of the Big Ten right now. So good for them.
And and you should have listened to me when I said again, Maryland was not going to be able to play with Iowa, and
We'll
that's
see
what
when
happened.
we get to pick who should have listened to who.
Oh well, lucky, lucky, lucky.
On to the Gophers. The Gophers recorded a W this week against Purdue.
Yep, they did. They played a little bit better. Offensively, we still, I'm sorry. Tanner Mount Morgan should be sitting on the bench. Sorry, just gonna go ahead and say that. Potts had a good game, but then he got hurt there in the end of the fourth quarter. He's still sitting in Cincinnati or some hospital in Ohio. Excuse me. Um, they're not saying what the issue is, other than that he's getting better, which is good for the young man. I'm glad we got 2 weeks, so he can get well. Whether he plays it, against Nebraska coming up after the 2 weeks, I don't really care. I'd rather make sure the young man's healthy, and I wish him the best, to him and his family, of course. Gopher Nation, but the way we played against Purdue, though, if we play that way against Nebraska, we're going to get beat by 25-30, because Nebraska's done picked it up a little bit from somewhere. I have no idea. And they must have stopped listening to Scott Frost, because they're playing a little bit of football. But again, we'll see what happens. The Gophers are another one of those roller coaster seasons. Depending on who they play, then they either play up to their level or down to their level. And, that's what we got to get used to for the rest of the season. Still going to be fun to watch them, but, it took all the hype and excitement out of it for me, in reality.
No, yeah, it was as hard fought as I thought it would be. Purdue's not a slouch. Like, the only reason I thought that Gophers might win big is because we weren't sure who was going to be playing quarterback, but they got their main quarterback back and their main receiver back. So Purdue always has a decent offense. The defense, Boy Mafiet is, I think he recorded like his fifth or sixth sacks this season, so that was good for him. He's playing well. Our linebackers are playing well. Our secondary's slowly getting better. Even though they gave up way too many big plays just by boneheaded mistakes, not looking right, things like that. Those are correctable mistakes. For the first time in almost like 3 years, I think, the Gophers threw for more passing yards than they had running yards, which is weird. But they need to take these 2 weeks. Like you say, Trey Potts is still in Indiana with his family. You can only assume what's wrong with him. But if he's in the hospital for a condition, something probably got poked or prodded in the tackle, unfortunately. But hopefully he's okay. Like I said, it's more about his health than get back on the football field. Next man up, as PJ Flex likes to say. I think we're going to see a lot more passing with him gone. As much as I like Bryce Williams and Bucky Irving, I don't think they're not ready to lead a team that wants to run 40 times a game. So it's going to be on the shoulders of Tanner Morgan, who, like you said, shouldn't be the starting quarterback right now. It's time to move on to one of your younger guys, Cole Kramer, let him get some throws in. But yeah, they got the bye. They need to work on some stuff, get back into the swing of things as a team. It'll be interesting to see what happens when they play next.
Yep. And yeah, as you said, in Indiana, not Ohio. I don't know why I was thinking Ohio. Must be Urban Meyer.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, it should be interesting. I think that the bye week is coming at a good time for the Gophers. I think they physically and mentally need to get themselves, prepared for this second half, because there's going to be some really tough football games coming up. Starting with Nebraska. So it'll be fun to see what happens. If, like I said, if anything, just grab your popcorn and a nice ice cold beer and check them out.
Definitely.
All right. So since we have a bye next week, just not gonna really mention anything about the Nebraska game, but they are playing Nebraska on the 16th. That will be the next game. And with that, we're gonna move on to the NFL. Just a quick recap. Tom Brady joined Breeze, Manning, Favre as the fourth quarterback to beat all 32 NFL teams.
It's an impressive stat, honestly.
It really is.
Yep.
There's quarterbacks out there that haven't even beat one, so.
Fair. That's also really fair. As you mentioned before, there's a lot of dramas circulating around Urban Meyer.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, Urban, my brother, my dude. Let me remind you of one thing. There's nowhere you can go anywhere in the United States, actually in the world, where you are a person in a high profile job that somebody's not going to have a camera watching what you're doing. And, when I saw the little 9-second clip, I'm thinking to myself, Urban, you dirty old man, you go ahead, you do. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. He the head coach of the Jack. What is he doing? It's like, you know what, bruh. They said it best on PTI. You need to grow up, bruh. That wasn't just a stupid mistake. That was just unimaginably stupid. And come on, man. Grow up. You're 57 years old.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I think it was like we have pro football players who go back to college games and do the same thing at the same bars. We're just getting up in arms because
it's 57.
What does that have to do with it? He went and he was dancing, having drinks with a girl. Like, let the man have fun.
Well, let's see. Because he's married. He's got daughters probably the same age as this young lady.
So you wouldn't go to a bar, have drinks, and if a girl was like, "Hey, let's dance," you wouldn't dance with her? Because you got sons who are 32. So any girl that looks under 35, you shouldn't be dancing with by your logic.
I'm not Urban Meyer. I can do whatever I want. Yeah, you right.
Like it's just I think
girl, do that.
It's just overblown to me. Like let the man do his thing.
Okay. It is overblown. But the reality is, and it comes down to this: you cannot preach togetherness, family values, and all these things that you're telling your players to go out there and watch what you do, how you do, and when you do it. All right, because remember, there's one little key thing to all that. It's not just about what I do or what I say. It's about the whole package. You can't say something and then not do it. You can't do something and then say you shouldn't do it. Or you have to. If you say you have to be a certain way, then you have to be that example. That's really what the problem is. Let's get real. Okay, is he speaks words, but he's not even living up to his own words. That was the problem.
And I can see where people would feel that way. I do, but like we're acting like everybody who does it that earned these positions, especially wealthy white males, don't do this. Our freaking president at one point did these things, and no one gets up in arms. But NFL coach does it, and like it's just like I said, people in the United States, especially sports fans, are super hypocritical when it comes to things. They're like, "Oh, turn the cheek for one," and then, "Oh no, this person has to do." Like, who cares? You know who should have had the problem? The owners, and they didn't.
Hey, young man. Do not talk about our first black president like that. Bill Clinton was the bomb.
You went a totally different direction with that than I thought you were going to.
Same. My brain just is not working.
Like I said, at the end of the day, he apologized to his players. His players seem fine. I'm more concerned with his coaching than what he was doing at a bar on a Saturday night. Like, that's a fireball thing. Like, he's just not good. He's not trying. He's just there for the money.
Well, when you tell, but again, let's go back to about what I was saying about keeping your word and being a man of your word and doing the things and being a leader. If you tell your team and you tell the head of the team, the owner of the team, you tell all your coaches, I'm going to go home and visit my grandchildren. Okay. Mm-hmm. The last time I checked, that did not look like his granddaughter stepping up to the bar stool. That would be gross, number one. And number two, they wouldn't be sitting in no damn bar. So again, you can't open your mouth and set the stage and then do something totally different. It's just that's the price everybody pays when you're in those positions. Plain and simple. Okay. Is it being hypocritical? Yes. Is it being, super judgmental? Cancel culture, all that other stuff. Yeah, it's all of that and then some. But the reality is that it starts with him first, though. It's about manning up, which he's trying to do. But he shouldn't have to because like I said, if you speak it, you need to live it, plain and simple.
Nah, I feel you.
All right, and then Minnesota now has 2 cornerbacks on the COVID-19 reserve list, with Harrison Hand going on today.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this team. First of all,
Well, they're not getting vaccinated. That's probably
Well, Cam, the first one who went was vaccinated, so
Yep.
his won't be long. I don't know about Harrison Hand. I don't know if he was vaccinated or not. No one reported. But yeah, it's still concerning because there are, especially in the back, like Harrison Smith isn't vaccinated, so like obviously he wasn't close contact, but still worrying when 2 of your secondary get it and your big secondary player isn't vaccinated. Same thing on the offensive side. As soon as someone gets it there, like your first concern is Thielen or Cousins gonna get it. It's just
right.
it's dumb.
Yep, it is. It is. But since you brought up the Vikings, I tell you, I watched that whole game and I'm like, what do you have to do to get some consistent play from that offensive line? That's what I want to know, number one. And number two is, the reality of Kirk Cousins' game showed again. Okay? If he does not have time, and it was put really well by an announcer, if he does not have time to go through his progression, goes, nope, 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 now I got to do something else, he's in trouble because that's the way his mind works. He doesn't go, nope, nope, oh, I got to go. No, his is nope, nope, I got to look now to my third option, my fourth option before I'm really moving. That's why he looks like a statue sometimes. And I understand that that's the way some plays are designed, but he needs to get the reality is that his offensive line is not that good. All right. You have to change your clock up in your head. I mean, I'm sorry, you've been around the same offensive line for 3 years. They ain't gotten any better, and you haven't adjusted your game. I'm sorry. That he can throw the ball when he got time. Yes, we all know that. All right, he can be in the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. But all you got to do is do what Cleveland did: turn up the pressure, keep him in the pocket, and he's going to fold because that's what he does. Because he doesn't know how to take it to that next level consistently. Now, does he do it sometime? Yep, he did it against Seattle a few times, right? But he just couldn't do it against Cleveland. I mean, there were some overthrows. There were some wide receivers wide open that he just totally missed. And then when they showed you the play from, the end zone and you saw, if you were the quarterback, you could just see where the play's at, but he's still stuck on his progression. He just didn't get to where he can make the play. Which means now, again, like the Gophers, we're just going to be watching for some fun of it because if they make the playoffs now, they have to go on an incredible run, and they got some tough football teams to play coming up here. So if they do, I'll enjoy it. If they don't, hey, it's pro football. I'll still enjoy watching the game, but just disappointed in the overall effort from Kurt, really, to be honest with you, and the coaching staff for not making the proper adjustments.
So I might agree and disagree with you on Kirk Cousins. I will agree that Kirk needs to evolve his game to be more than just a pocket passer. But I think the blame for his tenure with the Vikings is not on him. We know Kirk Cousins, like you said, when given time, is a top 5 quarterback in the league. No one will deny that. He makes the passes when he has the time, and they're good throws. They're great throws. I have more concern with Zimmer and Spillman leading this team. After 3 years with Kirk Cousins, you see what he was when he played with the Redskins, and you have him for a year, and you literally do zero to improve this offensive line. Zero. And it's not like there were other positions that got absurdly better during this time. Our defenses only got worse. And you can't, and like our best player on defense was a 4th-round pick. So it's not like we gave up a 1st-round pick to get Danielle Hunter. We drafted a 1st-round left tackle who's healthy now that's still not going to get any playing time. Clint Kubeck, or whatever the offense coordinator's name is, had a good game plan against the Seahawks, and then was like, I'm going to go up against one of the best defensive ends in the league and change the game plan. Like, Hill had zero help the entire game against Myles Garrett. He had to go one-on-one against Myles Garrett and literally got bulldozed into the quarterback multiple times. That's the issue here, is that our 2 people leading this team have done nothing to make Kirk Cousins successful. Like, they got Justin Jefferson, fantastic, he's a great player. Adam Thielen has nothing to do with them. He just grinded until he became who he is. I would say, like, they've literally only done things to pseudo improve the defense, and that's the issue here with the Vikings. Is I'm done with Zimmer. I'm done with Spielman. We need new leadership in Minnesota that is going to actually build a team, and I don't know what's going to happen. But the blame I do give Kirk Cousins in the last drive. You're down by 7. And with 8 seconds left on the clock, you throw a check down to Tyler Conklin. And that put them at the 29. And after the game, they said the reason they did the check down there was because he didn't want to risk throwing an interception, and they wanted to get closer to the end zone for a Hail Mary. You threw the ball 8 yards. That meant you were at the 32. That is plenty more than enough room to throw 2 Hail Mary passes to the end zone to try to get one. And Phil Mackey, who I don't always agree with what he says, but he tweeted this. A lot of people mentioned Favre's touchdown against the 49ers in Favre's first year in 2009 as a comp to what happened in that game. Favre connected with Berrien to set the Vikings up at a 32-yard line, and then he threw it to the end zone with 12 seconds left. The first of 2 potential shots. So the Vikings had 2 potential shots to win. And he says the difference between Kirk Cousins and Brett Favre and other elite quarterbacks like Rodgers is they take the shot. You have 2 chances, you take the shot on the first one. And if you miss, you take the second shot. Kirk Cousins is unwilling to take those shots when it counts. And that's the difference between him and being an elite quarterback all the time. Is he's afraid.
No, that's one way of looking at it.
It's fair. It's actually super fair.
And, like, don't get me wrong, the offensive line is horrendous. And I watched the highlights, 13-minute highlights, over again before this. And they were in his face from the snap. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand that. Like, that's not 100% on him. But when you are given the opportunity to make plays and be the leader, you got to make the plays and just take the risk. With 3 minutes left in the game, he threw a bomb to Thielen that was just a bad, unnecessary throw. If you're willing to do that, why aren't you willing to throw 30 yards for a touchdown to 2 of the best receivers in the game? So it's just, it's puzzling, and I don't see Zimmer or Spielman having this job at the end of the year. Whoever our financial guy is probably is going to get promoted unless they go out of market to find a GM.
Probably right.
All right, and with that, next week we're facing the Lions. Any thoughts on that game? Any hopes to see something?
I am no offense to the Lions, but unless we really, 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 they really just don't make some simple adjustments. I mean, it should be about 31-24 game us, but right now I'm not sure if the coaching staff can make the right adjustments. They haven't done so far. So I would say right now my money would be on the Vikings to win the game, but it's going to be closer than it should be because I just don't trust the coaching staff anymore.
Yeah, the bottom line is, if this is a close game, we have issues. The Lions literally are missing 3 of their starting offensive linemen. Our defensive linemen should have a field day. There is almost zero reason to send extra blitz. You sit back in a zone or man-to-man and zone combos, and you make their offensive line beat your defensive line, and everybody should be covered. Literally, if this game is close, like that should be fireable enough. Don't get me wrong, the Lions have talent, but not when you're missing 3 offensive linemen. So yeah, the Vikings need to go out, find some kind of swag, and keep it. Because obviously they found it against Seattle and just lost it against the Browns. They need to find it again this week and keep it, or a lot of people are going to be looking for new jobs next year.
That is for sure.
All right. I think you guys gave some pretty good takes on that. Hopefully not disappointed this weekend. But now it's time to do your guys' favorite segment, Bragging Rights Pick'ems. Last week, Dan, Randy, Dad was in the lead Saturday. He had 2 right. Everything he said about the college games, including Arkansas, spot on.
Indeed.
But then Sunday came around, and everything he said about the NFL games was wrong.
Indeed.
And so you both ended up having 8 right, which came into our first tiebreaker that actually got to get used. Glad we implemented this. Dad said the Raiders are going to win. Randy said the Chargers. Scores are irrelevant because you voted different teams. And the Chargers ended up coming through. Meaning Randy won the pick'ems again.
I got a little worried for there because the Chargers were up 21-0 at halftime and the Raiders started making plays, and then I thought my score was going to be right, 28-21, but the Raiders just couldn't score one more time for me. And then it just would have been a blowout. I would have got 2 points for getting the score right and picking the right team.
Oh, geez. You got lucky.
Just like I got lucky with Alabama's score?
The sun shines on...
Every time? Yeah, so far.
On a doggies behind once in a while.
To be fair, in this scenario, you are the doggies behind. Because I think he's won more pick'ems, but...
Hey, we can go back and check that.
I can. You want me to next week? I can do it.
Yeah, you can give us that total. Yeah, bring it up. It don't matter when it's all said and done. Because when it's all said and done, when the belt comes, it's going to be right here.
Well, they ain't going around no waist. That's for damn sure.
It's a regular size belt. Yeah, you're right. All right. So for this week's pick'ems, we're going to start with college as always. Next week's going to get kind of scary, and then like a few weeks after that, because we're going to be adding, NBA and whatnot. So, but for now, college, we have Oklahoma versus Texas.
Red River rivalry. Should be a good game. Oklahoma has not impressed me their last couple of weeks. Matter of fact, they probably should have lost both games the last couple of weeks, and they've come back through and been able to win. Texas, and again, which team's going to show up? I like their running back. I like their physicality. But I think it's going to be Texas in a little bit of an upset.
Okay.
Over Oklahoma.
Respectable. I don't think you usually go for the upset, so that's respectable. Ram?
On paper, they're both very even teams. Like, they score close to the same, give up close to the same yards, whole 9. I think the factor in this is going to be Sam Rattler, and I hope that he has a big game because I'm picking them to win and go to 6-0 on the year. So Oklahoma Sooners winning.
All right. All right, for our next matchup, we got Arkansas versus Mississippi.
Well, normally you would say after getting blown out, shut out, that Arkansas would probably come back and have a great game. But Ole Miss has got a quarterback and they can play. And they were kind of respectable against Alabama. I'm gonna have to go with my no. I ain't gonna pretend. I'm going with Ole Miss.
That's fair. I've been picking Arkansas every time so far, but Ole Miss, they can score. They can put points up on the board, and their defense isn't bad. And yes, they got ran over by Alabama last week, but I see them coming back, bouncing back, and beating Arkansas. So Ole Miss wins.
All right, Georgia versus Auburn.
This actually, Auburn came back and did a really good game last week. Came back and won the game. Bo Nix looked like a little bit more like a real quarterback, and now he's going to come back to reality. And it's not even going to be close. Georgia.
I agree. This is the only stat you need to know. Georgia, who has also played Clemson when they were number 3, and number 8 Arkansas, have given up, on average per game, 4.6 points. That is absurd. They are giving up a little more than a field goal a game. So yeah, Georgia wins. It's not close. Georgia's looking like the only team that's going to beat Alabama at this point. So Georgia all the way.
All right, and then we got San Diego versus New Mexico. San Diego State, man.
Well, San Diego State, that's a team, that's that late night game that if you stayed up all day watching football, and it's like 10 o'clock Central Time, and you're about ready to go to sleep, and you turn on CBS Sports, and there they are. Uniforms are cool because they're all black, but that's about it. But they actually can play a little bit. I don't think New Mexico has anything for them, so San Diego on an easy game.
I was gonna pick New Mexico to upset, but I don't see it happening. San Diego State to win.
Geez, you're playing it safe now, Randy. Trying to get 3 in a row, huh? I see how you are. Trying to sugarcoat it.
When you get out your comfort zone, we can talk.
We have Alabama versus Texas A&M.
Roll Tide roll. This is, there's not much to talk about. Texas A&M, without they don't have no momentum really. They're gonna, they'll play them tight, for a while, first couple of quarters, and then Bama will be Bama. So, roll Tide roll.
Okay, guys. One of these teams have a Heisman. Probably the dude's gonna win the Heisman. The other one has an okay running back in Spiller. He's doing okay. Alabama wins with Bryce Young leading the way to the Heisman Trophy.
All right, fair. I guess I'll give you guys a little bit of a tougher pick this time. Penn State versus Iowa.
Oh my goodness. Game of the week. Wow. 2 teams I really like. Which I wish they were not playing this early, but it is helpful for whoever loses this game because they'll still be in the mix. Looking at it, there's one stat that came up that I think is important. 49% of Iowa's points come off a turnover. Okay, when I think of that, the problem is that the teams that they're turning over, their defenses weren't very good. Well, the defense they're facing from Penn State is just as good. Actually, I think maybe better than Iowa's defense. They definitely have the better cornerbacks. Penn State is cornerback you right now. Them boys can play. and they coming. So, in a tight game, a well played game, probably more of a defensive game. I think it's going to be like 17-14 Penn State. I think Penn State's gonna pull this one out.
I'm surprising, Randy.
This is for playoffs. Whoever wins this is going to the playoffs. I think Penn State beats Ohio State at this point in the season. Iowa beats everybody in the West, and I think wins the conference in general. Iowa is playing like the number 3 team in the nation. And like you said, there's not much difference between them stat-wise, offense to defense. But I said it in our first episode. Somehow Iowa is always competitive. Iowa always puts together a team. And it looks like this year might be the best team they put together in a long while. So I'm going Iowa to win at home. And that's the main reason I have them winning, because they are at home. That third quarter wave to the kids is really cool. And they're going to just run. They're going to use that momentum to win the game. So Iowa beats Penn State.
Why are you trying to bring the sick children into play? Why are you trying to give Iowa that little juice because they're waving to the kiddies? Well, I'll wave to them too as they're getting beat.
Nah.
Seems kind of rude. Off to the NFL pick'ems, we have Rams versus Seahawks.
Rams versus Seahawks. I feel sorry for the Seahawks. I think the Rams are going to be in a bad mood because they didn't play as well against Arizona as they probably should have. I think the Rams will bounce back nicely against Seattle. Probably not even close, but definitely the Rams in this game.
I agree. Seahawks will try to do something early on, but because they're at home, it's hard to beat the 12th man. But the Rams are just too good. I think it was more of any given Sunday last week against Cardinals. Cardinals are good. Kyle Murray's great. But Rams come out and throw all over Seahawks. Rams win.
Okay. We have Eagles versus Panthers.
I think the Panthers showed that they're a little bit better than we thought. Sam Darnold all of a sudden is, what are we gonna call him, Scrambling Sammy? Sam, the run it down your throat man. I mean, come on, where did he come up with them touchdown runs from? But you know what? Hey, he's playing good football. I think that even though they lost to Dallas, they proved some things to themselves too as a team. I don't think Philadelphia is anywhere as good as Dallas or any team that they've played other than this year so far for the Panthers. I think they go ahead and win this game without a problem.
I agree. Panthers win. Eagles are not as good as everybody thought after their first win. They came crashing down to earth. Sam Darnold's resurrecting his career. Like, it's still not the greatest career, but it's better than what he was on the Jets. So Sam Darnold leaves the Panthers to a victory.
We have Packers versus Bengals.
Well, this is going to be a better game than I think people think. I mean, yes, Green Bay seems to be on a roll right now, but the Bengals are playing really good football. At first I thought their win over the Vikings was kind of an aberration. Okay, really, to me, it still was. But I think that's what that team needed. Sometimes a team needs a win like that to get started. And right now, the Bengals are on a roll. With that said, if you leave 31 seconds in the fourth quarter to Aaron Rodgers and he only needs a field goal to beat you, he got you. So, unfortunately, I've got to say Green Bay.
That's what it comes down to. I like the Bengals. I like Jamar Chase. I like what Joe Burrow's doing. He's on path for comeback player of the year. Him and Dax are battling for that. But at the end of the day, the first week almost had me there. But until Aaron Rodgers shows something that he can't lead a team to victory in the fourth quarter with the game on the line, you got to go Packers. Like that first game seems to be a fluke, and the Packers are in every game, and I'm gonna go with the Packers.
All right. That leaves Bears and Raiders.
Well, again, this is going to be interesting to the point that they just announced Matt Nagy that Justin Fields is now going to be the permanent starter. Sorry, Justin, that's going to hurt, bro. You're going to be one sore pincushion when this is all said and done, because that offensive line is worse than ours, and that's saying something. With that, the Raiders, like Randy said, they didn't play that bad against the Chargers, the LA Chargers. I almost said San Diego, LA Chargers, but it just seemed like they were just a little flat. I don't think they're going to come out flat again. I think they're going to play a good game, and I'm going to go with the Raiders on this one.
I agree. It's good Justin Fields can get on the field, get some more experience, but the Bears just aren't very good. And the Raiders are going to abuse the Bears at home and go to 4-1. Raiders win.
Right, so we got Bills and Chiefs.
Bills and Chiefs, the revenge game. The Bills' defense might be the difference in this game. But you kind of, if you're a defensive coordinator right now in the NFL, you don't want to play Patrick Mahomes right now, because he kind of is taking those two losses personally, as shown by the way he played last week. I think he's going to put up he's going to put some scores up on Buffalo. But unfortunately, though, his defense is going to be the reason why they lose the game. Josh Allen will get him a combined another 4 touchdown day and come up with the win. So I'm going to go with the Bills.
It's crazy to think that after the first 2 weeks, people tried to write off Mahomes as like a bust quarterback. Like, oh, he had his chance and he ruined it. Name another quarterback that is 2-2, had such a bad start to the season, but yet has 1,200 yards passing, 14 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions already. Like, I'm pretty sure he's leading the league in touchdown passes. And who's his real receiver? Tyreek Hill. Like, it's more of a flex. Right. So I won't count on Aaron Rodgers with Patrick Mahomes on the field in the way that he's been throwing the ball and making plays. I'm going to go with Kansas City at home to upset the Bills.
Okay.
All right. And then we talked about this earlier, Vikings versus Lions.
Well, again, like I said, if I think the Vikings should win this game. I think it's going to be closer than it really should be. I think the Vikings are the better of the two teams, but again, the coaching staff is really just not doing their job to me. But I think that the talent on the field is still good enough to win this game, even with bad coaching. So Vikings to win.
All right, and it was going to be a tiebreaker, but
you're just skipping. Even though you know who I'm going to pick, I still got to say it, man. God.
Do you?
Vikings win.
Any other thing?
Nope, that's it.
You're just so passionate before. I just thought like you got it all off your chest. That's my bad. My apologies. Okay, so I was saying this would have been a tiebreaker, but you guys have only 3 different. So there's no way there's a tie. So this is for an extra point. Notre Dame versus Virginia Tech.
Just score.
This is all score. All score.
Okay.
Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, the score. Wow. Well, I think it's going to be Notre Dame 38, Virginia Tech 24.
I have Notre Dame winning 21-13.
All right, so yeah, you will get a bonus point if that score is very close, like within I'll give it a field goal within 3 points. You gotta get one right, other one has to be within 3. I'll give it to you. Sound good?
Sounds good.
That was like a plan to me.
All right. Well, with that, then that's the end. That's everything. We got.
Well, can I just touch on a couple of things?
No, sir.
All righty, thank you.
I'm just kidding.
First of all, we can't not talk about the fact that the Major League Baseball playoffs just started. The Red Sox have already took and knocked out the Yankees. Yay! Not that I really care for the Red Sox either, but Yankees first, Red Sox second. Go ahead, Tampa Bay with Nelly Cruz. Go ahead and take them out. And so we just got to acknowledge that, that's going on. And one other thing I just want to bring up that make sure people realize that we do look at everything. The National Women's Soccer League, all the situation going on there, that's just shameful. Just the disrespect and the total lack of professionalism that's been shown to them lady soccer players and how they're being treated is a shame. If you're not aware of this story, please go out there and take a look at that. It's one of them things to just show you that, even in day and age, today, when you think that things like that can't happen, they're still happening right in front of people sometimes all day, every day. So, we need to, stay vigilant about being respectful, respecting not only our athletes, but our people. Whether it's a skin thing or a man-woman thing or whatever, respect is the number one thing. So I just had to bring that up too, just so people know. We're aware of it. We don't, speak long on it because again, it's a social issue more than a sports issue here. But it is something that should have been, acknowledged. And I just wanted to do that.
Agreed. And with that, we bring this episode to a close. We want to thank you all for listening. Hopefully you tune in next week. Any last words? Any other last words, Dad?
Go Vikings.
Go Vikings.
All right. Thank you again.
Until next time. Deuces.
Deuces.